Okay. Hi, everybody. Um, this is my second attempt at the introduction video. You know it, but after I watched the first one, I didn't think it really got what I wanted you to understand about the class. So hopefully this will work out better. So I'm Billy Open. I'm the professor. Uh, I've been teaching this class for 5 years at Delta, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I worked in the public mental health system for close to 25 years. I taught previously at Cal State Stanislaus in the Masters of Social Work program, and I don't know. So hopefully, I want to let you know that I know many of you here for different reasons. Some of you might be some of you are social science majors, and some of you aren't. Many of you just want to get your math thing out of the way, and you think this is the easiest way. So if you have struggles with math and math anxiety, whatever the case may be, I can tell you, you can get through this class. If you're willing to put in the work, if you listen, you do the work, you pay attention, if you ask for help immediately when you need it, you'll be able to get through this class. If you ask for help 2 weeks before the final and you're stuck in week 3, like that's not going to get anywhere, right? So ask for help. There's tutoring available. I'm going to have office hours. The office hours are in the syllabus. Right now I have them on Tuesday mornings and Thursday evenings, I think. We'll look at the syllabus in a minute. But I'm flexible, so I'm more than willing to do that. As you can see right now, I am recording this on the patio of our travel trailer up in the mountains. So I change my office hours if I get a consensus of what they should be, right? I'm not going to change them because one person said they can't do it, unfortunately. But, I'm also willing to work with some people individually. So we'll see where it goes. We'll see how it works. I'm going to have office hours, like I said, twice a week. People show up, I'll stay as long as I needed. If nobody shows up, I'm going to shut down the meeting. But it'll be Zoom office hours like this, so as many people as want can participate. Okay, and I'll send out invitations. I'll send out a reoccurring invitation for that process in an announcement. Okay, so having said that, I think I want to take a look at the syllabus and explain how the class is going to work. Okay, so give me a minute here, and I'm going to share my screen. No. I think something happened here. Hold on. So if I want to share a screen, I want to go to something that's not here, obviously. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can get this done. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it happens. All right, I'm going to pause the recording for a minute and see if I can fix this. All right, sorry about that, but I'm back. But, I think like many of you, hopefully I'm still learning how to do this. Like you, I was a in-class person, and at spring break last semester, it was like, oh, you're going online now. So I'm still working on it. Anyway, here you go. You go to Canvas, right? And everything now is going to be in Canvas. I'm going to have a YouTube channel for my lectures, and I'll show you where the link is. So all my lectures will be on YouTube, and you'll see. All right, so I clicked on that. Right here is, I put everything into modules. All right, so here's Unit 1. There's 5 units in the class. Unit 1 and Unit 2 are up, and then so we'll see how this goes. Okay, so I want to first go down here. Here's the syllabus tables, etc. problem, and these things will fill up more even over the weekend, right? So here, like I said, is the link to the YouTube channel. You already know that if you got here because I sent it out the announcement. So if you're watching this, you already know that. But this is how you get there for any of the lectures. The lectures will be up. You can watch them over and over, go back and forth, watch them in pieces, however it works for you, right? But then here's the syllabus. So here, like I said, is my office hours: Tuesdays 8 to 9:30, Thursday 5 to 6:30. But like I said, if I get a lot of emails, or I recommend, if this isn't working for a group of people, somebody start a discussion in the discussion board and you guys figure it out and come and tell me what hours you think would work. Don't send me 50 emails with 50 different ideas about what would work. That's not going to work for me, right? So if there's somebody who wants to take charge and figure out how to change the hours, that's fine with me. Just let me know. Okay, so that's the office hours. Here's the textbook. I already sent out a message saying the fourth edition is probably better. You can find it on Amazon or Chegg for a few bucks. And that works for me. I still post out of the fourth edition, so it doesn't matter. Here's how the syllabus course works, the learning object, all this stuff. I'm not going to read it to you, but here's how the assignments work. So there's 5 units. Each unit has a worksheet with 50 points. Each unit has a project, and each unit has an exam, and that adds up to your total points. And there's a research paper, which I will go over and make a separate video about because I always end up getting a lot of questions about it, okay? And then participation. So if you're not doing your work, you're not going to get your participation points. If I've never seen you in the class, Canvas records your time. I know if you watch the videos, if you're not doing your thing, it basically means you're copying and you're getting work done. You're obviously copying it from somebody else. So let's not be foolish. If you're going to cheat, at least be smart about it. At any rate, this is how we go. So I will track your time in Canvas, and I will be tracking your time. And if it's not appropriate, we're going to talk about why. Okay. I do not take late assignments. You got plenty of warning here. I know teachers. I was in a class the other day about teaching online and getting better expectations, but and how we should allow, there's exceptions. If you've been in a car accident, something drastic has happened, some real crisis has occurred, but the fact that you forgot is not a reason. So you can talk to me if you have a crisis. Otherwise, you've got well in advance. You know what's going on. If you procrastinated to the last minute and then something interfered with you happening it, that's your price you pay for it. That's the price you pay for waiting till the last minute. I don't know what else to say. You're adults. I expect you to act like adults. You know the responsibilities. Take care of it. Here's the thing to track your grades, even though Canvas tracks your grades for you for the most part. At least for the worksheets and stuff. I have to grade the project, so it might take a minute for them to get in there. Or my reader's doing it. So here's this is the schedule. So this is how it works. Obviously, you're watching the first lecture. This is the first week of class. You look over the syllabus. And then look, there's a basic math review. This is the basic math that you need to know to get through this class. If you look at this and there's something you're already concerned about, you need to start talking to me. But it's basically just addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, percentages, exponents only to squares, right? Square root, and that's really about it. So nothing real complicated. The way we put it together is what makes it a little bit more complicated, but you'll see. So after this week, you'll go, and the following week is I'll have the lecture available for Unit 1. All right? You can watch the lecture. It's not live, it's recorded like this, right? You watch the lecture, you look at your assignments, you work on your, that week or the next week, you both work on your assignments and your worksheets and your projects, and then we're going to have an exam. Of course, I have office hours during all this time, so if you're having an issue, come to office hours, obviously. Then you're having exams. So your worksheet is due. See, I got to fix this already. Your worksheet is due. I can't change it in here, but your worksheet is due the day of the exam. I'm going to fix this, right? So your worksheet is due the day of the exam. Your project, I'm going to make due the following week when you look at the lecture for the next unit. So I will fix all this up. Sorry, I thought it did fix it, but it obviously didn't change here. So, all right. Anyway, that's the way it works. Lecture, you get 2 weeks to do your materials, except for unit 1, which is only a week because it's so short. You get the work to do your worksheet and project. The exam comes, your worksheet is due. The following week, your project is due, and we start the next unit. Any questions? Check me out, and I'll answer questions in email too. So there's your whole schedule for the entire year. Of course, it's a living document. This could change, right? But that's the syllabus, and that's how the schedule is going to work. Let's see. If we go to assignments, I think I have. So here's a project. So the worksheets are easy. There's questions. You answer the questions. They're in the quizzes section. Well, let's do that first then. So in the quizzes section will be your exams and your worksheet. Your worksheet isn't available to you yet, but it's basically practice questions for taking the exam. And it's all covered in the material. It's all in the book. There is nothing in the thing nothing on the worksheet that's not in the book, okay, or not in the lecture, right? I pretty much lecture from the book so that you can follow along, right? And so that you can go back to the book and see what I was talking about over and over, right? I don't take anything outside right now, right? So your exams become available the day that they're due that week, right? However, they're due, and this will change, right, by the Friday. However, this is how it's going to work. You can do it any time during that week, but you're going to only have 3 hours to complete it, okay? So once you start, you only have 3 hours to work on it, and then the computer's going to deny you access. All right, so it's class time thing. However, you can do it anytime during that week period. The worksheet will be available to you the whole time the unit's open. And like I said, it's basically just questions. You answer. It's all multiple choice in here, except, let's see, I'm going to show you down here. So this is good. So you don't have to go through all of this. Yours will just be like this, right? And you'll see the questions. These are all multiple choice. So it's real easy. This is part 2. So this is for you. You need to fill this out. You can't do it, right? You can only at the end pick the questions, the multiple choice, the answers, right? Fill in your answers, right? So save your work. If you want to argue with me about maybe you should have got partial credit, maybe something, or you want to ask me where you went wrong or anything, you need to save your work to be able to show me during office hours, okay? And we'll figure that out. But unfortunately, with this system, you just put in the answer, and I can't see your work until some other time. So save your work on the computations, okay? So that's where your, in quizzes is where your worksheets and your exams will be. And then in assignments, you're gonna find, well, for the first week, the student learning contract, which you agree to do some things, right? You agree to be honest. You agree to follow the you can read, you're going to have to read it and sign it anyway, but you agree to follow all the policies and procedures of the school. You agree to, there's a few, I don't want to read the whole thing to you. You're going to have to read it yourself. But here it is. And then on the bottom, you're able to sign it. And then I'll see it. Okay. I'm going to close that out. And then I'm going to go back to local assignments because I want to get to the project. So here's the projects. There's one for every unit, right? And so I don't know what that is. What the hell is that? I don't know where we got here. Let me see something here. No, here we go. That's better. So there you go. I just learned you got to click on the picture. Anyway, here's your project. So for this unit, it's very simple. You have to ask 48 people, which is a little bit more challenging now. So here's the thing, Survey Monkey. Survey Monkey is the way to go, or else if you're still working or if your family, I don't care how you do it, but Survey Monkey is the electronic version. You just throw a question out there and wait for 49 people to answer, or you can send it to some people. Check it out. So Survey Monkey, because you're going to have to do this over and over. There's 5 of them, so you get used to it, learn how that works, okay? But this is it. So this is basically goes back to all the lectures on what we're talking about, and you have to do some work involved and create a thing. So here's the thing about projects. This is what I forgot in the first lecture. Most of you don't know it, but you have filled out Likert scales. When people ask you how did you like us on a scale of 1 to 10? How did you like our service? 1 being terrible and 10 being great, right? 1, I hated it, and 10, I loved it. Those are the things, right? So a Likert scale. So basically, your project, like you want to ask questions, you need to get it in a quantifiable. You need to be able to assign numbers to it. So it's like, how much do you like? I believe people, here's my hypothesis. I believe people like coffee. So I'm going to survey people to find out how much they like coffee. And so I ask people on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like coffee? And I get all that data and I use it to fill in this table. And you'll see more about that and learn about the tables and all of that from the lecture. So, but that's basically what you do. I recommend you keep it simple. Make sure you're comparing oranges and oranges, because some people do some goofy things and then they're like comparing apples and oranges and it doesn't work. You can't, I repeatedly get people that want to know about how tall people and shoe size and height are in 2 different measurements, so it doesn't work, right? But every semester I get somebody, it seems like, that wants to do that one. You know, that gets a little bit more complex, so you may want to pick something you can build on. Anyway, you'll see. So that's the project, that's the syllabus. Let me see what else. Showed you how the unit goes together, the worksheets. I think that's it. I probably should have brought my notes for this, but like I said, I didn't plan on doing it over. That's basically the structure of the class. And that's what I wanted to show you guys. I'm going to stop sharing, I guess, for now. Go back to the big giant head. So I went over the syllabus, I went over that, showed you Canvas, how things are organized in Canvas, the YouTube. So I think that's it. I kind of covered everything for the introduction. You know, we're all gonna learn as we go along, because like I said, I didn't teach online until, like many of you probably didn't learn online until spring break last year. So I'm doing the best I can, and I'm sure you are too. So well, like I said, though, we can all get through this. I can get you to pass this class if you're willing to do the work. So any questions, please email me.